You are listening to Heart Alignment, a podcast exploring nervous system healing, intimacy, emotional truth, and what it means to come back to yourself. So good to be back. How about we take a couple of really deep breaths together? Allow yourself to settle in. Maybe allow this time to be a little bit of receiving, letting go, surrendering. Of course, if you're operating machinery or driving any vehicle, you're not going to be listening to this podcast because I don't want to, feel responsible for any accidents happening out there. Let's breathe. Let's be here. Let's be present with our bodies. Today's episode is going to be a juicy one. We're going to talk about sex and mental wellness and how those two go together so well, in my opinion. Maybe not in yours yet, but that's what I want to talk about here today. So see if you're sitting comfortably, laying down comfortably, making sure that you are in a position that feels good for your body. All too often we listen to our thoughts, our ego, what is expected from us in the outside world, and we see our body as an inconvenience and put him on the back burner. And when it comes to Aurora time, not only in my coaching, but also here when you listen to my podcast, I want to invite you to tune into your body and listen to your body and what it needs. Maybe you need to drink a little bit of water. Maybe you need a little bit of a snack. Maybe you need to readjust your seat. Just see what comes up. And then notice if you're holding any tension in your body. Is there some gentle movement? Any kind of movement really that wants to come through you that would feel good. Maybe you are somewhere in public and you're going to do this later. Maybe you are alone at home and you can just stretch out to the side, overhead. Amazing. I'm doing this right now because I noticed it's been a while since I've been moving, flowing. Wonderful. All right. So today I want to talk about sexual wellness, mental wellness, and how those two go hand in hand. Unless you are asexual, you have absolutely no interest in sex, this episode is not for you. But if you're interested in what might be going on in other people's life who are interested in sex and intimacy, stay tuned, stay connected. I really feel, and I've learned in my own body, I felt it in my own nervous system, how important it is for my mental health to stay connected to my pleasure and my sexual energy. We can also call it life force. I'll ping pong between those two terms. Staying connected to my pleasure to me means finding pleasure in the mundane things in daily life. Really appreciation for my cup of tea, appreciation for my coffee. Oh my God, the smell of my coffee. It's usually not my coffee, my fiance's coffee, and I drink his coffee. The taste on my lips, the warmth going down my throat. Oof. once I reconnected to finding pleasure in the simplest things in daily life, I felt not only more connected, but more alive. And that in turn very positively affected my mental health. And we can go even deeper, right? If you connect to your sexual energy, if you imagine yourself engaging sexually with yourself, your partner or partners, it is an energy that is incredibly strong. I want to say it's the strongest energy here on planet Earth, the energy that can create not only offspring, but that creates, that brings forth beautiful things, the most important creations. I want to say the most beautiful music, the most beautiful art, the most beautiful creations that people bring forward are created from a space of intimacy with self, with soul, with sexual energy. And so if you look at society, if you look at the past, if you look at religion, and I'm not against religion per se, it has been not very much encouraged to be fully connected and engaged with our own sexuality. I want to say, especially as women. We went through so much humiliation, so much repression, so much abuse around our sexuality, around our body image and how we feel towards ourselves, that it's very easy to understand that some of us, not all of us, some of us have a tricky relationship with their own sexuality, with their own sense of self, right? That energy is so strong, so present, so beautiful. And if you're being told from the outside world it is wrong to express, it is wrong in and of itself, you should suppress this, well, guess what? It is going to affect the other parts of your psyche as well. Your mental well-being, your physical well-being, the way you go about your life. If you feel shame for your desires, your fantasies, for basically who you are, how are you going to feel good in your skin? How are you going to make decisions in alignment with your true self, in alignment with your heart? Wink, wink. If you feel shame for who you are, if you feel shame for your sexual desires. So I find it very, very important conversation to have with people from all walks of life, because it does not matter which position you have, which job you work in society. We all have had experiences when it comes to intimacy, our own sexuality, that were either really good, comfortable, empowering, or not so good. And I really dislike labeling good and bad, but understand that, yes, some experiences are not comfortable, are not creating safety and connection. And so it goes with messages around sexuality and intimacy. The shoulds and should not do, the coulds or could not do, and oh my God, is it ever complicated? And it's not getting any easier. It is not getting any easier. And so people are getting more and more confused as to what can I express? How can I express my desires? How can I express what I want without feeling scared of being ostracized, rejected, or full on shamed or blamed? And what do I do with my energy? Do I need to suppress it? Can I express it? Like it's very confusing times, I want to say, more than ever. And at the same time, we're also learning about how much went wrong behind the curtains, under the surface. And it helps us understand why we are where we're at when it comes to integrating, experiencing healthy sexuality. And so going back to the title of this podcast, which I'm still going to work on, but I said this is going to be about sexuality and mental well-being. It's very clear to me then why a lot of people do not feel well mentally and emotionally, because they don't feel certain and clear, confident in who they are as sexual beings. And again, you can decide to become asexual. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to experience intimacy with yourself or another person, you need to become crystal clear as what it means for you to be a sexually fully alive human being. I'm going to leave you with that for now. Let's take a couple of really deep breaths, and I'm going to feel into this, what wants to emerge, what wants to come out around this topic. Yeah. It's very clear to me. Also something that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode is that all too often our body is being put in the backseat. And it is through our body, with our body, that we experience intimacy, connection, and sexuality. So how does that make sense then for 24/7, let's say, for 22 hours and 7 days, to put your body into the backseat, to fully neglect it, ignore it, maybe even treat it as an inconvenience, totally dismissing any signal that it's trying to get through to you. And then when we want to be intimate for the 2 hours within a week, it does not work. Well, guess what? We have not built that connection to our own body first to then experience intimacy with ourselves or others. We live a disconnected life from our body. So unless you are a somatic worker or somebody who has done extensive work on themselves with their body, they're using their breath, they're using touch, they're using their 5 senses consciously at all times, it will be very difficult to make that switch. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you if you find yourself in that position where it is very hard to be intimate on command, so to say. It's very normal. I want to say 99% of us are in that modus operandi. And so the key now is, like I mentioned in other episodes before, is to not become overwhelmed, to not add shame, to not punish, to not feel, overly anxious about this realization. Oh my God, I'm disconnected from my body. That's so bad, and I want to change this. But to make 1 degree changes. Like in one of my first episodes, to connect to your breath and to notice when I start to become intimate with myself or with my partner, is my breath shifting? Is my breath nice and deep? Can I lose myself in my own breath, in my partner's breath? And then what is going on in my body? So maybe you want to start outside of the bedroom. You can start inside of the bedroom, but maybe you want to start outside of the bedroom and maybe notice, okay, when am I connected to my body? When do I actually listen to the signals? And when am I consciously dismissing, pushing away, disregarding, neglecting signals from my body because it makes me feel XYZ, uncomfortable, anxious, I don't know what to do with that information. But just noticing how your body is trying to communicate with you. Is it a tingling under the skin? Is it a little bit of a restlessness? Is it a hot flash? Is it a tightness? Is there a softening happening? And so on and so on. Really becoming familiar how your body reacts in certain situations. Not only thinking of your mind and thoughts and how to respond and react, but what is your body experiencing on a daily basis? That's so valuable to do when you are on your journey to come back to your true self as a sexual alive being. And so we covered the breath, we covered somatics, so becoming familiar with your felt sense. And maybe connecting to your voice and realizing, okay, when I'm with this person, I speak like that. When I'm with that person, I speak like this. Noticing the sound that you are making. And again, you can also try this in the bedroom and notice, how do I sound when I'm intimate with myself or with my partner or partners? Is there any sound? And if not, that's perfectly fine. If there's sound, how can I connect even more to the sounds? So I want to say, to close this little episode here, and like I promised in my last episode, I'm going to go way more into depth in future episodes, but this is a gentle little start. Yes, sexual wellness, sexual health is very, very tightly connected to mental health. The more clear we are, the more comfortable we feel, the more sure we are about how we handle this powerful, beautiful energy, the better we feel about ourselves, the better we feel mentally, emotionally. And then very practical steps to close the gap between a disconnected body and a connected body, to me, is connecting to the breath, observing your breath, connecting to your felt sense, learning the language of your body again, and connecting to the sounds that you make, the vibration that your chest, your throat can feel when you are making a sound, not only when you're speaking, but maybe breathing, more heavily breathing. And this will support you to feel more connected, to feel more clear about who you are sexually. I'm just going to leave you with that. If there's any comments, if you want to reach out and ask questions, if you want me to talk more about this and there is a specific topic that you want me to talk about, shoot me a message. I will always keep it anonymous. And you know where you can find me, where you can work with me, where you can go more into depth when it comes to sex, love, and relationship, intimacy, mental wellness. And I couldn't feel more delighted and blessed to be here with you. All right, take really good care, and I'll be out there very soon again. Bye-bye.